We are here today to talk about the legislation on marijuana. A mother of an epileptic 7-year-old launched a campaign for medical cannabis oil treatment after the UK government refused to give it, as it was illegal in April of 2018. Before the legislation, the Dingley family had to travel to the Netherlands to receive the cannabis-based medication, which at least 3 times a year cost them a lot of money. They made a petition which amassed over 350,000 signatures to support the family with their quest to legalise medical cannabis in the UK.
On the 1st of November 2018, it was made medically legal and doctors could prescribe patients that they believe could benefit from marijuana. Marijuana is a useful drug for medical reasons. It can help with anxiety, PTSD, can relieve chronic pain and nausea. A study published in the Drug and Alcohol Dependency found that a very low dose of THC makes people with fear of public speaking less nervous. It can also reduce seizures by 39% and can help reduce cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, a small number of studies found that the drug can be helpful for cancer patients during chemotherapy.
Many people believe marijuana to be a fatal drug. However, this is not the case. According to Mercy Wellness of Cotaharty, it would take 20,000 to 40,000 times the amount of THC in a joint to die from an overdose of marijuana. As a result, there has never been an account of death due to marijuana overdose recorded. Researchers have found that the combined health risks of marijuana are much lower than that associated with alcohol and tobacco consumption. A study found marijuana dependence to be 9 to 10% in adults, whilst cocaine and heroin get 20 to 25% of their users addicted respectively. This study also found tobacco to be the most addictive substance.
On time.com, it shows that in the USA, 28 states have allowed a legal form of marijuana, and 2/3 of the American population support the legalization of marijuana. The amount of adults in America that oppose marijuana has now fallen from 52% to 32% in the last 10 years. In Canada, medical cannabis was made legal on the 30th of July 2001.
In 2010, an independent scientific committee compared 20 different drugs of their harms and dangers to individuals and society. They discovered that alcohol was the most harmful drug, followed by heroin and cocaine.
Whereas marijuana came a whopping 8th, having 1/4 of the effect of alcohol. In conclusion, the government should take into consideration the benefits of marijuana and consider how it could aid people with various health and social issues.
Okay, good. What have you got to counter? What have you got to counter these statistics?
Yeah. So, should marijuana be legalized? So we're reading a slide each.
Okay.
So evidence last year suggests that cannabis has been smoked as a drug for ritual purposes by the human race for at least 2,500 years. And then the strongest cannabis to have high levels of mind-altering compounds was the Jazancal cannabis that was discovered in the mountains in the west of China. The Iranians were the people who released cannabis to the world. They discovered the psychoactive effects of it and introduced marijuana to the Scythians, Thracians and Dacians. Modern history shows cannabis was banned in many countries in the beginning of the 19th century.
Oh wait, I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, so you're doing the crime scene. Yeah.
Which slide is that?
It's this one.
Okay. Here is a list of violent crimes in the UK caused by mental health, which was influenced by marijuana. That crimes range from murder to attempted murder. and it can happen to anyone, old women. Some cats were beheaded by a crazy guy. So, yeah, and this is all close to home. This is all London and parts of the UK.
Nice. This drug is so suspicious right down to the number of names. Cannabis has various mental and physical effects which include euphoria, altered states of mind and sense of time, difficulty concentrating, impaired short-term memory and body movement. It is imported all over the world, known for its prolific use in the black market drug trade, and is used in smoking, vaporizing, or as an extract. It becomes addictive to people who use it. Some people can have hallucinations because of their addiction. NHS states that 10% of regular cannabis users become dependent on it. 30% who use cannabis suffer from withdrawal symptoms, and 9% may develop an addiction. Of daily users, about 15% experience withdrawal upon cessation of use, i.e. are dependent, characterised by sleep problems, and craving stuff.
So these are some of the posters that have been used for propaganda for marijuana. This one here was released in 1935, and it's basically just a warning. I think it was released in Chicago, and it was basically a warning to say that a friendly stranger may hand you marijuana, and apparently it's a powerful narcotic in which lurks murder, insanity, and death. And it was basically had contact details for the Interstate Narcotic Association. So that was basically an association in America where they dealt with people who were maybe unstable, maybe who were taking this stuff, and who had basically just gone mad really due to taking it. And then obviously this is another one, probably from about a decade before, judging by the colour. I'm not entirely sure, but it says the sweet pill that makes life bitter, not better. And it was basically also about marijuana as well. And then understand the big deal, how marijuana harms youth, which basically explains that the marijuana itself is taken by lots and lots of youths across the world, maybe mostly Europe, and sometimes in places that aren't Europe as well, like Iran or Iraq, or places where people are desperate for either a medicine or something to take their minds away from the stress.
Okay.
And then
You've got your bibliography up there. Okay, good. Do you have a comeback?
Kind of.
Let's go for it.
You hear on the news occasionally that MS people that suffer from multiple sclerosis use cannabis oil to treat. Do you think it should be legalised as it is now, as medical use, or in general ban it completely?
As long as there are very, in my opinion, as long as there are very strict precautions, because yes, okay, it is legal in some countries, Tony, but in other words, it can also be, as we put in one of the facts, it can also be sold on the black market and used for recreational purposes, which is something that we should never ever do, I don't think. I think recreational purposes is for using cannabis is stupid. For medicinal, yes, probably, but not recreational.
Is black market use a case for or against
Well,
the legalisation of marijuana?
Yeah, I put it
Against,
against because it's illegal, isn't it? It's black market.
What do you guys say?
Well, it could be either, really.
It could be either, yeah.
As in, like, if it was used as medical use, how would they entertain that?
Yeah.
They would have to
They'd
grow
sell it legally
it.
if it
But
was-
you can grow it legally.
Yeah, but if it
In
was,
this
if it was
country.
being sold for medical use, it would be sold on the black market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but how would they provide it? How would they get it? They would have to grow it somewhere, and then sell it on to the NHS or private healthcare. How would they obtain it?
I had a question for against. Your mental health crimes that were induced by marijuana, where were the, like, how did they know it was induced by marijuana? Was it in your sources or?
Yeah. It was in the sources that that said that during their trials, during some of the victims' trials, it showed that they were under the influence of marijuana. Most of them here have also got paranoid schizophrenia from their use of cannabis.
Okay.
But could have been any other drug. What is? Does it say on the post-mortem, for example, that it's been death for cannabis?
No, because the court hears that medical records show that in their bloodstream they had traces of cannabis within their bloodstream.
Regardless, the man that beheaded a grandma, he had no motive. So
He
if
went
they
on a
found, if they
rampage.
found marijuana and he said that, crazy things, and he had schizophrenia, I don't really know what other reason he had.
Yeah.